Whenever you set out to help someone, you're really facing a fundamental choice. Are you just providing a temporary fix, kind of like a handout? Or are you doing something more, something that actually empowers them for the long haul? Well, that's the huge difference between relief and development. And honestly, understanding it can change everything.
So on the surface, this seems pretty straightforward, right? Relief is like giving someone a fish when they're hungry. We've all heard that. Development, on the other hand, is teaching them how to fish. But that just opens up a much bigger, much more important question. How do we actually make that leap from just giving to fostering real, sustainable change?
Believe it or not, the key might just be hidden in a story that's 2,000 years old. It's a famous account from the Gospel of Luke about a paralyzed man, his really determined friends, and a very unconventional solution. And it turns out it's a surprisingly practical blueprint for how we can transform communities today.
So let's dive in and treat this ancient story like a modern-day case study. Because as you'll see, it's a perfect model for how effective, ground-up community action really works.
Okay, so our story kicks off with a man who's facing a massive problem. He's paralyzed. He's heard that there's a source of healing nearby, Jesus, but there's no way he can get there on his own. He is completely dependent on other people for any chance at help.
And this right here, this is the first critical turning point. The idea to help doesn't come from some outside expert or an aid organization. Nope, it comes from right inside his own community, his neighbors, his friends. These are the people who know him, who see his struggle every single day, and they're the ones who decide, okay, we've got to do something.
So they come up with a plan, they carry him on his bed, and they head out. But they immediately hit a major roadblock. There's this huge crowd of people blocking the door, making it totally impossible to get inside. This is their first big test.
So what do? Just pack it in and go home? No way. They get creative. They actually climb up on top of the house, start pulling off the roof tiles to make a hole, and then they lower their friend right down into the middle of the room. I mean, it's a radical, persistent, and frankly, a pretty risky plan.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. We're going to stop looking at this as just a story and start seeing it for what it is, a framework. Their journey from identifying the problem to finding a solution actually reveals 5 core principles of genuine community development.
First up, you've got what we can call the insider perspective. See, the friends knew the man's real need because they were part of his world. They lived it. An outsider might have just brought him food or some money, which is relief. But the insiders, they understood the root issue was the paralysis and the real desire was for healing. All truly effective development has to start from this inside-out perspective.
All right, principle number 2. Their action was totally voluntary. Nobody paid them, nobody forced them, nobody told them they had to. They saw the need and they willingly took the initiative. This proactive, voluntary spirit, that's the engine of real development. You can't force it. It has to come from within.
And that single, powerful image of them going up on the roof, well, that's not just about their determination. It's the perfect lead-in to our third principle.
Real development demands some serious, creative problem solving. When the normal way, the front door, is blocked, you've got to be willing to find another path, even if it means taking a big risk like tearing a hole in someone's roof. They didn't let the obstacle stop them. They found a way around it.
And this next point is absolutely crucial. They didn't sit around waiting for outside help or for some special equipment to show up. They immediately looked at what they had right there and put it to use. Empowered communities are masters at using their own local assets.
I mean, just think about what they actually used. Their own physical strength. The man's bed. It was already there. Maybe some ropes. Or maybe they just used their own long cloaks as straps. And most importantly, they used themselves. Their ability to work together, their collaboration, was their single greatest resource.
Now here's a detail in the story that I find absolutely fascinating. The text says that Jesus saw their faith, the faith of the friends, the community that brought him, not just the faith of the one guy who needed the healing.
And that right there brilliantly illustrates our fifth and final principle, faith in action. This isn't just some passive belief. It's a shared confidence that a better future is possible. And it's a vision that you demonstrate through hard work, teamwork, and supporting each other. It was the collective belief of the group that made the impossible happen.
Okay, so let's see how all these pieces come together to create that final, transformative outcome. Because the goal of real development isn't just to solve one person's problem. It's about lifting up the entire community.
It's so important to notice what happens next. Jesus doesn't just fix the physical problem. He also addresses the man's spiritual needs. What he's modeling here is a holistic approach. See, true development cares for the whole person and the whole community, not just the immediate obvious problem.
And this is the real payoff. Yes, the individual man was healed, which is amazing. But the true sign of success? The entire community was filled with awe and gave praise. The solution for one person became a source of inspiration and uplift for everyone. Now that is the hallmark of true development.
So, when you put it all together, what this story gives us is this amazing repeatable process. It all starts with an insider's view of the real need. That sparks voluntary action. And that action then uses creative solutions to get past obstacles, all while using local resources. And the ultimate result? It's the transformation of the entire community.
And all of this brings us right back to where we started. Relief gives a fish. It asks, what can I give you? But development teaches how to fish. It builds capacity for the future by asking, what can we do together with what we already have? The friends in the story, they weren't just practicing relief. They were practicing development.
So I'll leave you with this final, really important question to think about. In your own efforts to help, whether it's in your neighborhood or halfway across the world, which approach are you taking? Are you just providing relief? Or are you actually building development?